Headlines, trends, weather and travel getaways. It's Wake Up World on CEMTV.
Good morning on CEMTV's Morning Pulse. I am Emmanuel Tenari, and of course it is a wonderful, cold, rainy and wet morning in the city of Port Harcourt and in most parts of Nigeria, surprisingly, with the likes of Abuja having immense rainfall. Of course, we had none other than the weather oracle herself tell us that, and surprisingly yesterday when she predicted that rains were going to fall around 3 p.m. heavy rains, it came to no surprise to us in our office when all of a sudden it was quiet, and then it was as though, you know, heavy rain began falling and we started hailing. We started cheering for the weather oracle, and one of us even had to go downstairs to give her kudos. How did that feel yesterday?
No, like people should be accompanying it with money, because when you actually go to all those weather forecasters, especially those local ones that maybe they are rain holders,
the rainmakers and all of that.
Exactly, you go with something. So if people should be coming to me with something. Well, most definitely, at the end of the day, it's prediction. So when it actually comes to, it comes out that way.
The gods, demanding sacrifice.
Please bring money.
Maybe one of these days, perhaps, we'll go with goods and be like,
no, I'm a Gen Z, what do you call it, oracle. You come with money, just money. That's all I need. You
the gods just need cash now.
Or any of the,
will the gods accept transfer?
The gods accept transfer, they do. Transfer they accept, cash they accept, anything, no, food they accept. Yes, like shawarma they accept.
The gods, they chop shawarma. Okay.
Yes, so modern gods.
Well, this morning there was a video online that's making the round with presidential aspirant Peter Obi of the NDC saying on in an interview some things that some would consider to be quite heavy allegations, heavy accusations, but he said it, and it got a lot of people thinking. It had a lot of people asking questions, and some of these questions are what we will address here on CEMTV's Online Trends in the Morning Pulse. Here's a video of what Peter Obi had to say.
The way they are going now, I might not even be alive. Every single thing I do for a living, this government is frustrating it. Deliberately so. Everything. So there's even possibility if they have opportunity, I will not be alive. It's an accusation. I know I get frustration every day. Because you do things that you think they will be normal. It is not normal. They will come directly and say, oh, we're doing this, but you could see. That's why I keep saying, I want to bring back unity where there's division. I want to show love, compassion, care. It's gone out of here. The Anansi people I know at the airport, they will not greet me. Because they are fearing that if they greet me,
they become targets of the government.
Thank you. And I have people send me invitation and say, my son, my daughter is wedding, but please don't come.
You see, he made some heavy allegations, like I said before, concerning his economic well-being, the business he is running, and most importantly, his interpersonal relationship. And the question was asked, and I would want to ask that question here. Should political rivalry be moved from politics to economic warfare? Is that what political rivalry should entail? Because of course every government will have their opposition. America, they have the Democrats, they have the Republicans, they have the left, they have the right. Should it be a war? Because rivalry is, okay, this person is saying this and they believe they can do this better than me. What are they saying? Okay, this person is saying if I do it this way it'll be wrong, I should do it this way to make it better. Why don't I take that, inculcate it into my idea and make myself better than my opposition? That is healthy rivalry. That is what rivalry should do. And then once the opposition sees that, they say, he did this and added a spin to it. I did not expect that end. Okay, since this is working, let's see which part isn't working and see how we can convince the people that we will do this better than he did or she did. That is what rivalry should be. Not a situation of, I think you're doing this wrong in governance, I think you're doing this wrong in governance, and then you start attacking the business, attacking, interpersonal relationships. Now, that would move me to Vera here, before I go into what the Constitution says about it. I would want to ask, isn't this stooping a bit too low for a government to do? Because when we talk about the right to freedom of expression, which is enshrined in the Constitution, anybody, everybody has a right to express themselves, and it is the right of a citizen to criticize their government constructively. And in everything we've seen so far, from all of Peter Obi's talks and all his speeches and all the interviews, so far, has there been any particular video that you've seen, or to your knowledge, that has been deconstructive, laden with insults, laden with, a venom, laden with poison, to the point where it would warrant the government to attack him personally? Because from all the videos we've seen, it's more or less, the government is failing in this is how they can do better, the government should address this, the government should do this, the government should do that.
So I'm going to start off with saying that these are allegations from Peter Obi, who is also a presidential candidate for the 2027 elections. Atiku Abubakar can also come out here and say, the current government are after me as well, economically and all of that. So
even the current administration is saying that the opposition is after them.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, this is politics. And everybody's going to say everything, do everything they need to do to get the votes of the people. Now, I'm not saying that's the case with Peter Obi, but I'm saying it's most likely. Because, of course, this is politics. But in the case where this could actually be true, where there's actually like a pursuit to his businesses,
to his life and well-being.
I do understand that he's a man who has so many businesses, and there's been a pursuit to his business. There's been like, trying to bring his business down and all of that. I would say that Peter Obi is experienced enough to know that this is not something he's supposed to be quiet about. He's experienced enough to understand that if the government is currently after me, trying to frustrate me, I should make this public. I should maybe sue the government. I should do something about it. Now, I understand picking your battles is very important. You can't fight all the battles. So maybe that is a stick, But at the same time, you do not make allegations like that without proof to back it up. Guess what? He's the same person also talking about how the government should actually show us proof, should do this, should be transparent with the government, with Nigerians. You can't be preaching that to the current government and also not being transparent. Allegation is an allegation. He's well experienced enough to know that. So if you are making these allegations, they also have to be proved to back those allegations up. You need to be able to tell us what exactly has been done that has frustrated your business. We can understand that yes, it's possible, but if you are making those allegations, you have to bring out proof. You just can't put those allegations out there over the government. And it's not only about the government, because the government can decide to do what not or what not about this. It's also about the people who you want to trust you, who you are saying this thing. I heard him also say that he might not be alive to the 2027 elections. That's extreme if you ask me. As much as we understand that you're also running for government, for the presidency, you're in the race for 2027 elections, we also do know that these people are nobody's just going to kill you because of the 2027 elections. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm saying that we already know how these things work. The frustration possible, killing you before 2027 elections, only natural cause can do that at this point. At the end of the day, we do not want politics being played here. We don't want accusations like what the government will come and also accuse Peter Obi. We've seen a lot of government officials, the presidency, those who represent the presidency, give some backlash to Peter Obi. And at the end of the day, his obedience will always be like, this is not true, and always support and all of that. But at the end of the day, if you want to make a difference, you have to be the difference as well. You can't also be pulling up allegations against the government without proof. Besides, I don't even think that in this place that we are right now, anyone should be focused about what the government is or not doing. Focus on what it is that you want to do for us. What difference do you want to make in your own governance? Because at the end of the day, everybody have seen what the government have done. So whether you're trying to even dig holes inside there, there's no hole that's not already been dug. So instead of fighting the should I say the attack?
The attack,
You
yeah.
actually do the defense, which is show us what it is you want to do. A lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say they do not have, a lot of people say that they can't vote for 2027 elections because they do not see any right candidate. Why do you think people are making that statement? Do you get me? So if there are people, you say you have, you know, prospects, you say you have plans, you say you have blueprints that you want to bring on as you're coming for the 2027 elections. If people are still doubting your blueprints, if you've not shown people what it is that they should come with, how are you going to win the elections? How are you going to convince the people? So instead of the attack on the government, you play the this is also a football field as much as it's politics. Tell the people what the people want to do. If you really believe as well in the people's right to vote and the possibility that the people's voice counts and the people's votes count, you will try to let the people in on what you're doing rather than trying to you know, I don't want to use the word bring down the government, but then try to put an attack on the government. The government will do what the government should do. I mean, at the end of the day, you are in opposition. Yeah. So I'm sure that you were prepared for all of this, you know, back and forth, if at all it comes to that. So Nigerians don't want to hear that. If at all Nigerians want to hear that, Nigerians want to prove alongside with it, you know. But if you're not going to be giving us that, I don't think that it should be making this allegation.
You know, I love the fact that you pointed out that there has to be proof. You know, all of these are, like I said earlier, accusations and heavy allegations that are being placed on the government. And I think it falls on both sides to prove whether what he's saying is the truth or if it is false.
I do believe that the government should do a debunking of this particular, you know, information. Would try to play.
I mean, knowing the government and those attached to it or those associated with it, we don't need to wait that long.
Yeah.
We're not going to need to wait that long for, you know, a representative or a senator or, you know, someone associated with the APC to come out and speak on behalf of the APC administration as to why what Peter Obi has said is either a lie or is in fact true. Now, when it comes to these, you know, accusations being made, you talked about how him making these accusations is not what Nigerians want to hear, you know, but it was what he was asked in the interview. So wouldn't it then not make any sense if he's asked, you know, has the opposition in any way affected your life or well-being, and he's like, no, let's not talk about that? You know, wouldn't that in a sense defeat the purpose? Because like I said earlier, he has a freedom of expression, and if it is an experience, not everyday experiences would have, you know, yesterday I talked about an experience I had, which is with the police. I was lucky enough to pull out my phone on time and record this going on. But with some of the allegations he made, you know, talking about how, for example, at the airport, he gave an example of his car being locked up and other cars were there, but his particular car was locked up and he was told that he's not meant to park there. And he said he looked to the left, looked to the right, cars lined up, several cars were there, and cars were there before he came in, cars were there while he was parked, and it was his particular car. So he asked, why was it my own car that was locked up? Isn't there any other car? They say, no, you're not meant to park here. You know, so at that point, would you expect, you know, someone of that caliber to all of a sudden pull out his phone and say, CEO, they are locking my car, or I'm asking him why they are locking my car for no good reason? You know, so I just want to know your, you know, reason behind that, because I expect him to bring proof, but thinking of the allegations he's making, what kind of proof can he
the presidential candidate of the NDC in the 2027 elections what to do, how to use the court of law? We're not supposed to do that. So if you